All right, it is big ball day, so we'll just let that ball do what it wants for a moment. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. You have the freedom to choose. Good. Get those elbows involved, opening, pulling those belly buttons in, squeezing, wide stance. Roll through those knees, that spine, lift it up, squeeze, arch your spine, get a big extension, bring it down, hands on your thighs. Ooh, nice cat, nice cow. Shift your weight into your heels and your hips, hands to your heart. Bring it up, squeeze again, bring it down, support yourself. Cat, cow, hands to your heart, weight in your heels and your hips. One more time. We open, come down, exhale, cat and cow. And then we shift our weight back and come up. And then we'll start by simply grabbing our ball and going into a wide stance. So you want to have your feet wider than your mat. Arms are straight. Let's make sure we're not leaning back too much. You'll have to counterbalance a little. What are the ribs doing? Pull those suckers in. Squeeze the ball, use your triceps. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax that. Bend the knees as you come into a wide-legged squat. And then lift the ball overhead. Get an extension. I'm okay with that. Bring it down, lift it up, neutral, and then extension. Bring it down, lift it up, neutral, then extend. Two more like that. Bring it down, lift it up, extend it. Last time like that, we bend into it. We come up, extend, and back to center. Squeeze the ball. 4, 3, 2, 1. This time we come down. We're going to drop it, lift it, come up, just neutral this time. Lift, come up. Lift, come up. You probably know what's coming. I'm going to bounce it a little harder so that it makes me stand up. Can you get that ball to come all the way up to head level or even higher? Whoops, without too much chaos. Couple more here. Should be noisy at your house. And relax. Shake those arms out. Hopefully they felt that a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and come right on top of the ball. Sitting up, giving it a nice gentle bounce, nice and easy. Try and keep that upper body extended even though you're bouncing with your legs. And raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I promise I will not fall off the ball. Thank you. Won't hold up in court, but what the heck, we made an effort. All right, so that we don't fall off the ball, a couple reminders, and we'll pause with that bouncing. Bring your legs really wide and scoot toward the front of your ball so it's kind of sticking out behind you. You're in more of that cow extension. This should feel like a really stable, wide base of support. That's always your options, feet wider. So now I'm going to bring them ball width apart. Should still feel quite stable, but a little more challenging. Feet right underneath the knees, which are out from the hips, is going to be our parallel position. And finally, feet together, ankles together, everything touching, knees together. That might make you feel a little more wobbly. That's your challenged position. Most of the time we'll be here in neutral or a little further apart so that you have good support. So please keep that in mind. If you're wearing socks, you probably want to take those off. Those would be more slippery. So bare feet or shoes. All right. And then let's go right back, sit right back on top of that ball and find that erect posture. And then all we're going to do a little bit of hip movement. I'm going to tuck those hips forward and back, right? So I'm going to extend that tailbone behind me like a cow and then tuck under like a cat. Just a little bit of pelvic girdle movement, deep muscles working here, working that spine a little bit. So tucking and tipping, I'm going to go ahead and start turning sideways so you guys can hopefully see better what's going on. Again, feet can be whichever distance apart you want. Tucking and tipping. Your whole body might move a little bit, but try not to make it all about that body moving. Just your hips 2 more times, and then find neutral. And then we're going to go ahead. We're going to walk those feet out so that they're ahead of us. And then all you're going to do is let your body slide down the front of the ball so the knees end up directly under or over your heels, which should put your upper body on an angle, and you should feel those abs engaged already. Pull those ribs in, make sure your ears are over your shoulders, and we're holding here, arms out into a T or a V or an I. You choose, lower those hands, deep breath in, hold here, exhale, do the same thing, but maybe roll back just an inch, lower the hands to come up an inch. Keep that going for me. So it's a really tiny movement. You're not sitting up and sitting down. You're moving 1 inch. So make it even smaller, teeny tiny. Hands are lower before you move, and then they reach. And then on the next time you go back, you're going to stay back. You're going to lift your back arm and rotate your front arm. You're only moving the tiniest bit through your rib cage. I don't want this to be very aggressive because I need you to stay in that neutral spine. 2 more each way. And then we're going to go even further. So as we come now, we're going to find that our head is still off the ball. So I'm going to support it with those 2 fingers, elbows nice and wide. Nod the head yes. This is our negative to neutral. So I'm going to let the head drop over the ball, and then I'm going to push the ribs into the ball to lift into my neutral position. Head goes up and over, push into neutral, right? So you're not pulling on that neck. If you want more resistance, you create a longer lever, cradle those arms around your ears, crisscross at the wrist. If you want to add on, when you go up and over, your hips are down. When you come up, your hips lift and start a little bridge with that, with those glutes, feeling the glutes and the hammies engage. A few more here. If you wanted to challenge yourself, you could try lifting up as you come up, just a tiny lift, no big deal. And then we'll come back, and this time you're going to support your head, walk out until your hips are off the ball, and now that ball should be underneath your head. So here you are, beautiful bridge position, glutes working. If this is uncomfortable or difficult, go to that wide stance. Otherwise, try parallel, and for a bigger challenge, ankles, knees, feet come together. And if you want, go back to neutral or a little wider. Keep the hips lifted. And that's your first challenge. If you want more, try and lift one heel and then the other. If you want more, try and lift one foot and then the other. If you want more, try and lift one knee and the other. If you want more, try and lift a leg and then the other. And then finally, if you can lift a leg, try and draw a circle either direction. Woo. Make sure you're alternating, try about 4 more, and then when you feel ready, you're going to roll all the way up right on top of your ball again. All right, so meet me on top of the ball. Scoot the ball so that you're sitting nice and, centered on it. This is our hands-free, trying to have feet free also. So maybe lift 1 foot at a time. See if that can work for you. Holding here. A lot of balance here. If you want, you could tuck and tip those hips again. If that works for you, you could try side to side. And if that works, you can circle. But you're trying, the big challenge is to get the feet off the ground, even if all you're doing is hanging out and touching down occasionally. That's our playtime. All right, beautiful. So however you want to get there, I'm actually going to see if I can roll all the way forward so that I can come down with that ball supporting me. and hopefully not running away too far. And then I'm down on my mat. And we're gonna come down to that lying down position. Just go ahead and rest the ball on your rib cage. Put your hands on the outside, extend those arms straight. Give me that tricep squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1. Add prep with the ball. Deep breath in. Exhale. Float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Reach the arm overhead. Give the ball a squeeze. Exhale. Everything comes down. Deep breath in. Exhale. Lift. Inhale. Reach and squeeze the ball. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale. Lift. Reach and squeeze the ball. And exhale down. Option, just a little play. When the arm goes overhead, I'm going to bounce the ball, catch the ball, and then come down. And I can lie down, right? I can keep my head down and do the same thing. All I'm doing is making sure that those ribs don't pop up when those arms go overhead. 2 more. All right, and that was our ab prep. Let's bring those knees tabletop for double leg stretch. Deep breath in. Exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Grab the ball again. Give me that tricep squeeze as you extend your legs. Tap the ball to the knees. Exhale, stretch and reach. So I'm not bringing my knees into knee, remember. I'm just lowering my heels. Option, I can open those legs, hand the ball off, and reach. And squeeze with my inner thighs. Grab the ball, reach, squeeze with those inner thighs. Or sorry, with those arms. And then inner thighs. So we're just kind of, we call it keep away from the belly button. And then your final option would be knees staying tabletop. I'm going to come up, tease your position, roll the ball to the ankles, the knees, and extend right back up. Ankles, knees, and extend. So now you make a choice, right? Let's do 4 more of whichever version of double leg stretch you would like. And then we'll relax. Once again, ball on that chest. As you're lying here, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, sink in so that that ball just relaxes, right? Theoretically, you could stay here all day because those ribs are pulled down, that ball wouldn't move, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to move it to your inner thighs. You probably have to hold it down and then squeeze with your inner thighs, but make sure those abs and those ribs are still pulled in. Pressing and squeezing, pressing and squeezing. 3, 2, 1, relax. Deep breath in, exhale, squeeze, 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 hold, hold, hold. And release one more time like that. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax. We're going to lift that ball up. It's between your knees. Ribs stay flat. You can even keep your fingers there to remind you. Back of the neck is long. Gently press the back of the head in. Shoulders into the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale, staple the belly button to your spine. Inhale, legs move away for toe touch. Nice and slowly. 2 counts to go forward and 4 counts to come back. If you know that your ribs are staying down, you're welcome to bring those arms out to the side, palms up. If you want a little more challenge, roll that ball to your ankles. You can still do this with bent knees. That ball will be a little further away. Or you can go into that straight leg version, double leg lower. And then we get to take a break. So just bring that ball into your hands. Let your knees drop to one side and your arms to the other. That top leg hopefully is getting a little hip flexor stretch. That body's getting a little rotation, a little opening at your thoracic area. And then the top leg comes back, bottom leg comes back, arms back through center. Drop the knees the other way. Again, that top leg should feel a nice stretch down through the hip flexor and calf and quads. And then back up through center. We're gonna take that ball all the way down to the ankles. This is that challenge where we roll like a ball without kicking the ball out of the way. And balance at the top each time. 2 more. 1 more. And then you'll meet me sitting up with that ball in front of you. Let's pull those glutes out from under us so we're sitting very, very tall. Hands out. We're going to start with knees bent. Make sure your spine is not tucked at all, and then just hinge forward a little bit. Press down on the ball to grow even taller and hinge a little more. Press down to grow taller and hinge more. And then you could start to straighten out those legs if you want. You want to make sure that you didn't roll onto those sit bones. They're still, really sticking out behind you. If you had a tail, it'd be back here. Spine stretch with the ball. Alrighty, okay. Well, you guys know Big Ball Day, so you know some of these exercises. This next one, I'm gonna double up, or you can, fold twice if you want your mat and scoot it a little bit toward the back of wherever you are, because you're gonna need some space out in front of you. Then you're gonna come onto all fours, toward the front of your mat. We're gonna put our hands, knife edge on the ball. We're gonna sit back on our heels and drop your elbows down till they're really close to your thighs. So you wanna start in the scrunchiest position you can. Roll forward, lift all 10 toes in the air so you're on the tops of your thighs. Then you start to move your arms away and start to drop your torso so that you end up in a front of the thigh plank, arms straight, head close to the ball. Pull your belly button in to pike back into your starting position, or maybe not as far. So I'm going to go out in a plank and pull back in a pike. When you go out in that plank, make sure your spine doesn't sag. Your body's still in that straight line. And then you pull the belly button in to pike up. So you're going to do 4 more like that. This one should be quite challenging. Woo! 3 more. On the last one, see if you can hold it out and then pull it, the ball underneath you. Flop over it. Woo. That should help round out the back, the area that we just might have felt a little work in. You can roll that ball side to side underneath you, maybe a little circle or 2. Roll forward and back, changing what area is getting that stretch. And then finally, you're going to bring your toes on the outside of your mat, tuck them under, and simply straighten your legs. That should bring the ball so it's directly underneath your hips. Use your hands to help push yourself up into an extension. Then come down and find a nice even position here. You can come onto your fingertips and give yourself an extension. You can hover your hands, or you can bring them down behind you, little extension here. Good. Then put your right hand on the ball. Left arm comes higher than your head. And then do the other arm. Good. Put your hands down. Lift your right leg and bring it down. Left leg, bring it down. Right leg and left leg. You know what's coming. I'm going to get my right hand on the ball. Hopefully, if you need to, you can go on the ground. Left arm up. Right leg lifts, even if it's just a little. Bird dog. Bring it down. Left hand comes to the ball. Right arm, left leg up. Woo! Back to center. Left arm, right leg. And down. Right arm, left leg. And down. And then we're going to go ahead and curl a little bit forward until your hips come to the highest point in the room, or the hips are the highest point. We're going to bring those feet together. Head is going to be down. And now I'm doing a reverse or a hyperextension, reverse hyperextension. Still working that same low back area. Couple more. Good. Go ahead and put your feet down. Walk your hands so they are right underneath your shoulders, not wide like that unless you're going to need to do that. Make sure that you have at least a foot between the back of your hand and the front of the ball, because now I'm going to ask you to lift up and then bend the elbows, and your upper body comes forward as your lower body goes up. A Pilates push-up. Elbows touch the ball. If you're too close, walk them a little bit further ahead, my water. And it's equal. How much your head comes down is how much your legs go up. If you want more challenge, the hands go a little further ahead, the ball comes underneath your hips. So more of your upper body is now over your arms. Again, elbows are grazing that rib cage. Legs go up as head comes down. Please don't meet the floor with your head. Just a few more here. And relax for a moment, but stay here. We are in a beautiful plank. So let's hold this plank by flexing through our heels, pulling that belly button in, pressing away with the arms. You can bring them a little wider. You are welcome to stay here. This is going to be progressive. If at any point you need to stop progressing, pause there. If you want more, hands go out front. I'm going to roll until that ball comes underneath my thighs. Same checkpoints. I'm going to make sure my heels are pressing, my thighs are lifted, abs are pulled in, back of the neck is long. A little more. Hands go even further forward, ball comes underneath the shins, press away. Make sure you're nice and strong here. And final option, you walk far enough ahead that that ball, I'm running out of space, comes underneath your shins or your ankles, pressing that ball away, holding here, strong plank position, head in line with your spine. And then you can flop. All right, and then final thing we'll do from this prone position with the ball, make sure your back feels okay, get a little tuck and tip if you want. Final option is to figure out, is there a way that instead of one leg, one arm, which we did before, and that's going to be fine, right? Could I lift both arms and both legs? Flying Superman. Then final flop. Oh, little rock side to side, if that would feel good. Maybe a little forward back, tucking a little more, getting less and more support. You can put those two things together. All right, ball is going to stay on the floor, but your hips are going to go right to the front edge of the mat so that when you lie down, you are on the mat, but the ball is off. So here we go, bridge work here. All right, again, this is going to be progressive, so you can always go to or stick with the first level. So all we're going to do to start with is bring the feet together, arms out in the T position. There's no cat here, and relax. Oh, that feels great. We won't be here long. All right, from there, widen the feet to hip distance and lift the hips off the ground. And this is bridge one. You have options here. Lift your arms up for more challenge. If you need less challenge, widen your feet. If you want more challenge, bring your feet together. See if you could lift your arms up. And then final option, you might want to put your hands back down, lift and lower each leg 3 times. Hips stay lifted. So this is your first option. Moving into the second option, we're going to roll the ball until our feet come to, let's call it 1 o'clock on the face of the ball. Same options, you could just hover your hands, you could walk your feet to touch, or you could lift and lower one leg 3 times and then the other. Hips stay lifted. Notice if they're droopy dragon, especially if you lift that opposite leg. And then final option, you walk until only your heels are on top of that ball. Again, you could hover your hands, you could lift and lower leg, figure out what you want to do. If you're doing a leg, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. And then hips come down and we all start back where we were. Woo! We're gonna hug that right knee in for just a second before the next round. And then left leg. All right, next round, we're gonna combine hamstrings and then glutes. Arms are out, deep breath in. Exhale, lift up in that first bridge position, that's all for now. And then roll the ball in by curling your legs and press out. So hamstring work. If you want, put your left leg on top, right leg in the air or tabletop and do 4 this way. And then switch it up, right leg on top, left leg either here or tabletop. And then we're going to take a break, but everybody's going to have those knees bent, feet on the face of the ball. Get ready, get set to lift up and lift up. You're in a bridge, hold it there, tap it down, lift it up, tap it down, lift it up, tap, lift, tap, lift, tap, lift. Halfway there. Squeeze the glutes at the top. If that's too big of a range of motion, just go up, up, up. 3, 2, 1. Ay, ay, ay. Whew, let's roll that ball underneath the left leg and bring it to the left. Hug that right knee in. That should feel good. Be really gentle with it. Move it in a couple of circles one way and then the other. And then bring that knee in. Give it a beautiful hug. Maybe clasp and pull it deeper. Can you flex through those right toes and pull them back with your right hand? Play with your feet if you'd like. And then roll the ball back through center. Take that right ankle across the left leg. Bend that left knee to bring that right leg closer, deepening the stretch on that hip. And then cross that right leg over and let your feet drop a little bit to the left, just hanging out in space. Maybe your right foot rests on the ground, left foot still on the ball. And then back up through center we go. We're going to uncross everything. Right leg is going to take that ball to the right, left knee into your chest or armpit. And again, just some gentle circles, get movement through that hip. And then bring it in. Flex through that foot, pull it back and down. Right leg comes back through center, left ankle crosses, and then bend that right knee to deepen that stretch. Try and keep that left leg all right angles for now. And then cross knee over knee, arms into a T, and begin to travel to the right. You can put that toe down. Oops, oops, oh well. Back. All right, and then come on back through center. Woo! Mosey your way back up. You're probably going to keep that mat folded in half if you like, because that's going to give you a little extra cushioning as we come up onto our knees, and put the ball on our right hip. Lean over onto it, take your left leg in front, right leg behind. So you have a wide, wide base here. And then that right arm underneath you gives you support. You can press up Or is this your left arm? Right arm, I'm right, sorry. Using that to help you do some oblique work, you can lift that arm for a little more challenge. And obviously you can take that bottom arm off for more challenge. And then we're going to stay here. We're going to try and put both arms in an L. We're going to poke a hole in the ceiling. Just 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Right hand down. Left arm comes up and over to roll the ball underneath you so that now that low back area on that left side should get a beautiful stretch. All right, we're staying on this side. Right hand goes underneath you for support this time. And we're going to stack those feet up though. So now it should be a little less stable. You might feel like that. If that's the case, put a hand on the ball, or if you need to, it can go on the floor, but I'd rather you try and keep that open chest. Then that top leg comes up and you do a golf ball size circles and reverse them. Try not to move the ball underneath you. Then let's make baseball Padres size circles and reverse. And then basketball size circles, not yet started, thankfully, we're still in football. And reverse. And then circles as big as the ball you're on, again, trying to keep everything really quiet underneath you, and then reverse. Woo! And relax, bring that leg in front of you as you kind of curtsy down, just a really kind of passive, not much of a big stretch. We'll stretch more in a minute. And we get to do those two things on the other side. So if you were doubled up, move your mat to the other side so you have extra cushioning over there. And come onto your knees with the ball on your left hip. Lunge over, right leg on top, left leg behind, straight legs. And again, I can use that hand to help me get some oblique work. I can lift that top arm. Maybe I try just fingertips, or maybe no hands. And then we're going to put arms in an L position, poke a hole in the ceiling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Up and over with that right arm, let the ball roll underneath your ribs. And come on back to center. Put your left hand on the ground. Stack your feet up. Try and find a nice balanced position on the ball. And then top leg up, golf ball size circles. And the other way. And then Padres baseball size circles. And the other way. Try and have your leg at hip height and keep it there. And then basketball. And reverse. And then the biggest circle you can make without wobbling too much. And reverse. And bend that knee. Woo! Give that hip, hip, hip some love. All right. From there, you're just going to pivot around. Bend your knees a whole bunch so that your heels sit up against your hips and that ball is supporting you. Super comfy. You could let your head drop back if that's okay with you, and arms extend, opening the chest. If you want a little more support and a little more stretch, roll until that ball comes underneath your head, arms out, T position. Beautiful chest opening, something we always need. Now, if you want to, I'll do a quick demo. You can let that head drop up and over the ball. You don't want to do that if you have vertigo or pregnancy. If you have pregnancy, if you're pregnant. And then wherever you are, come back to this neutral position and start to gently slide that ball down to your ribs, low back, and then all the way up, sitting nice and tall. And then we'll take some little stretches here before we bounce off the ball. So you are on the ball. Stretching on the ball is a little extra challenging, so you're welcome to hold on to the ball to grow tall. Take that left leg across the right one. Push that knee down, lift the heel up, and press the ball back behind you without curling your spine. So press into the ball to grow tall. And you can cross that leg all the way over, still growing tall. Notice if you lifted that hip, push it down on the ball, and then just give it a tiny little rotation. Uncross, right over left, press into the ball to grow tall. Try and get that leg down, ankle up, hinge forward if you like, pressing into the ball. And then cross it over. Welcome to give it a little bit of a twist. And then we come back to center again. We're going to go slightly wider stance. And again, we're just going to move through that pelvis, a little tiny, or actually with those legs wider, maybe a little more aggressive. And then we'll turn this into our cat-cow. So you're going to come forward, lift and arch, exhale, roll it back, cat. And then you can decide where you want your feet to be. Next time you're in a cow, let's extend. I want you to bring your hands to your heart, widen your stance, start a very controlled bounce, as if you're going to be, I'm going to get up. Nope. I need to get up. Nope. I'm going to count down from 4, 3. We're getting up on 1, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Happy big ball day.